The Citizen Shaping the County segment is all about people.
That's right, Joe. The people who volunteer their time and their expertise to the county's boards, commissions, and committees.
They bring a completely different perspective and a new level of expertise to the process of governing.
It has always been important to the commissioners and departments to include citizens in their decisions.
You know, you can find out more on how to become one of these dedicated Jackson County citizens by visiting the website at jacksoncounty.org. Enjoy.
Hello everyone, I'm Bill Mance with Jackson County Close-Up. We're here today to have just a real special talk with Joe Ferguson, and he is the department head of our juvenile justice department, and they have the ability to touch people who go kind of wayward when they're young and head them off into a path that really makes them for better citizens. Not all of them, but what a great honor it is to spend a little time. Joe, thanks for joining us today.
Sure, thank you.
So I know that community justice in general kind of has a little bit of focus on, I guess, what we would call the victims of crime. So talk a little bit about how that works in your department.
Sure. So for the last 30 some years, we've really partnered with one local agency, and they've changed their name several times. So it used to be Mediation Works, now it's Resolve, and so they do restorative justice, and so that's really focused on the harm that kids have done or anybody. And so we really have partnered with them, and so they provide a lot of different services for us. And so the kind of the low end of our continuum would be our minor thefts. And so they provide a theft class for us, and so they really focus on what that impact is, and not only on the local store, but also all consumers, because the more people steal from stores, the higher their prices get. And so, in terms of getting them to think a little bit more about, how their decisions, affects others, and as a community too. And they also do what we call face-to-face dialogues. And so where a victim has been identified, is willing to come face-to-face with the youth that committed that crime and really talk to them about what that impact has been. And so it's been really enlightening to kids, because I don't think I would say for anybody that chooses to commit a crime, they really don't think of a victim. And so when that victim comes forward, and they've been pretty powerful, at least on the juvenile side, where it's not victims just coming in and saying, I want you locked up, and stuff. It's really, well, what's going on with you? Why did you feel like you needed to tear down my fence, or whatever it may be? And so along with that piece, also in terms of if there's a restitution amount ordered, that we've had some victims that are willing for that youth to come over and work for them, to work off the restitution. Because, we get 12, 13, 14-year-old kids that have done something, they just can't go out and get a job. It's kind of difficult. And so it's been nice to look at that piece. Resolve also helped us, it's probably been maybe 5 years ago now, where we brought back our community accountability boards. And those are really boards of community members, and so currently we have them in Phoenix, Talon, and Medford, where it's a panel of members from that community that meet with, we have a probation officer that kind of facilitates that, but they meet with the youth and the family and kind of talk about what's going on with them. Very similar to what our probation staff would do when they sit down with them, but really to allow the community to help decide how to hold that youth accountable, and what restorative measures can be done to kind of not only help the victim, but also help the youth make better choices. And so we've been doing that. So they kind of helped us bring that back and get those boards going and things. They do some work up in our detention facility with the youth in terms of some class work, skill building pieces. We've had them come into our residential program where we had fairly major conflicts between youth and do some dialogues and mediation between them, and so it's really trying to not only focus on helping restore the victim, but also the youth too, and really kind of that mindset for staff of how best can we look at the whole picture in terms of everybody involved and repair that harm. And so, because there's a lot of the reasons why kids do the things they do, and it may be helping them get on the right direction in terms of if it's mental health counseling or substance abuse, that those services they need, versus just saying, what you did was wrong, we're giving you 8 days of detention, don't do it again. I mean, that's punishing,
Right.
Which at times, it can also be accountability. I mean, there still has to be some of that too. So it's really a mix of things we look at.
So is there a particular skill base somebody on the accountability board needs to have, or how do you get involved with that?
We're always looking for new members. It's really somebody that is wanting and willing to help make a difference, that really kind of has a good overview in terms of could have been a victim at one time, but don't necessarily be. I mean, we have just general community members that have jobs out in the community, business people, work in retail. It's really just that desire to kind of work with kids and families and make a positive difference in their lives, not only with those youth, but as a community as a whole. So because really those 2 locations, they only get kids from their communities, and so it's not that we're sending kids from Eagle Point to the Talent Phoenix one. It's really to have some sort of investment in your community.
Well, and that kind of builds a different relationship than maybe a probation officer and a juvenile. So it kind of expands the amount of people that they have kind of working with them, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a mentoring position, and really, and mentoring has shown to be very effective. And it's somebody that lives in your community, that cares about you and your community, and I think that's a very positive piece, and maybe helps get that youth more connected to their community. And I think that's a big piece that kids and others are missing these days in terms of that connection.
Yeah. So if you wanted to do that, how would you connect?
So they can just give us a call down at the juvenile department, and you can either ask for myself or Jenny Lawson. She's our probation officer that handles that case, the cabs right now.
Thank you for spending time with us today,
Right.
and keep up the great work.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.